Hi, and welcome to your natal chart astrology consultation and analysis. Thank you so much for purchasing, Kimberly. This is, it's an honor because we've been connected for a while now online, and I just want to say thank you so much for this opportunity and for trusting me with delivering this to you today. So the first screen that you're going to be looking at is just your birth details to confirm, which is the 22nd of July 1995 at 1607 hours Los Angeles time in the USA. Now the next screen you're going to be seeing is your natal wheel, and the reason I am bringing this first to your attention before going through the planet positions with you is because I've only ever read about this formation of this mystic rectangle that you have in your chart. This is extremely powerful and a very I don't want to say volatile, challenging. It can be a challenging energy to manage because of your internal world is kept very private, and your external world, you can appear as very serene, very put together, whereas internally it can be quite the polarity you're experiencing. So I just want to say wow first and foremost, because this in and of itself, yes, you're a 29-degree Cancerian sun, so you are the peak of the alchemists with 29-degree Cancerian sun, but with this mystic rectangle going on, you are just, this is next level, sister, sweetheart, seriously. So let's dive into it. I'm going to pull up the planet positions for you here now, and as we can see, you've got this massive stellium going on with your Sun, Mercury, Venus, and your vertex. Now the reason why the vertex is very important is because this is a destiny point in your chart, and you have Venus conjunct it, as well as Mercury and your Sun. Okay, because the Sun, I like to give an orb of up to 8 degrees. So yes, this is a very, very powerful chart, my love. And just tuning into it as well with the aspects trining over to the 12th house and Pluto there, that can be a very challenging life experience in and of itself. We will dive into that as well. So this stellium that you've got going on in the 8th house of Scorpio, and thus Pluto, right? This is, to me, very much that it just seems that on top of the mystic triangle, okay, with all this Cancerian energy, you are already very protective of your heart, very protective of your inner world. I would say that just on that stellium alone, knowing and seeing the mystic triangle though, I can see how it will play out in your life with regards to being very pragmatic. Okay, so all or nothing thinking, especially with that trine over to the 12th house. This trine aspect, I have to be honest, it can be quite a detrimental aspect. Okay, when we have planets in the 8th trining planets in the 12th, this can lead to abuses of a sexual nature. Okay, so if this is the case and you are experiencing and working through healing from perhaps your early 20s, early to mid 20s, I want to say 23 years old, around that age, I want to say, I hope that you're getting the support that you require. The aspects from the 8th to the 12th house can also indicate things such as petty crime or grand larceny or jail time, things of that nature as well. However, with Jupiter on your ascendant, and also Jupiter being your chart ruler because you were a Sagittarius ascendant, I can kind of see how that could have been an issue. Like, even if it was when you were younger, you used to like shoplift or something like that, like really little silly things. However, I just want to go back to Sun Mercury conjunction and Venus vertex conjunction. Okay, Venus being conjunct your vertex, I feel, is very beneficial in and of itself, let alone the fact that you are an alchemist, like you are Cancerian, and they're the magicians, like you create through feeling. Okay, and I just got chills when I said that. So I feel that with it being conjunct your vertex, I feel that whatever it is that you pour all of yourself into with that Venus vertex conjunction, I feel that that is what's going to, I want to say, really light up, light up where you're headed in the world, because vertex in Venus, or vertex in Cancer, your anti-vertex therefore being in Capricorn, which is the way through, indicates to me that there'll need to be a certain amount of dedication and precedence and priority placed on what it is that you're envisioning for your life to unfold the way that you have been seeing it unfold, if that makes sense. Like, you have, with all this action in the 8th house, that scorpionic energy on top of the Cancerian energy, not only can you see, but you can feel, because we know that both Cancer and Scorpio are very deep feelers. Okay, and then having I want to say the moon there in Gemini as well, I always feel that that is a very like claircognizant kind placement, and it being in the 7th house there with your Black Moon Lilith. I feel Black Moon Lilith in Gemini. Black Moon Lilith to me is Saturnian and Plutonian energies combined, because it is that area where we find people from our external like to enforce control over us, or we like to have control of, so with it being in Gemini, your Black Moon Lilith in Gemini there, and in the 7th house, mind you, I feel that perhaps with the moon in the 7th in Gemini, perhaps it was your mother whom was the one who tried to control how you related to other people. Maybe she had very strict rules with whom you could hang out with, or maybe she tried to impose strict views on how she would like you to grow up, with the moon being in the 7th house and in Gemini, I do feel that volatile energy coming from your mother though. And it was something that you kept hidden from everybody else. As implied by your mystic rectangle, you don't let the chaos and the volatility of your internal world be revealed to the external. And now, taking into account as well the planets that are making up this mystic rectangle for you, the asteroid Chiron. Okay, it is the Sun and Mercury and Venus, and it is Neptune and Uranus, and it is Saturn retrograding in Pisces in your 4th house. So very challenging, especially with the Chiron and the Saturn, being in opposition there. That's a very challenging aspect to have alone, let alone the fact of there's this inner war between your Chiron in Virgo and your Pisces, your Saturn retrograding in Pisces in the 4th house, mind you. Okay, so the other aspect of having Neptune conjunct Uranus, 4-degree orb in the 2nd house in Capricorn, you have a very, very particular way in which you perceive your reality. You have a very particular way in which you want to be perceived as well. And you also are very particular about what brings you value into your life, okay? Because it's I have in the 2nd house. Taurus is I have, right? So you have a very unique perspective on your reality and what is included in your reality, and also on how you perceive your reality, because you can be, as I said earlier, this mystic rectangle leads to pragmatism, okay? Black and white, all or nothing thinking. So the fact that there is that trine from Chiron down to the Uranus-Neptune conjunction, both of which are retrograde, by the way, if I didn't already mention that, in the 2nd house. I feel that you've had a very unique perspective. They just keep telling me unique perspective, my love, on your healing journey, on even your past lives, they're telling me as well. You have a very unique way of tapping in to the energetics behind what you're experiencing, and that emanates outwardly in a very smooth and calm manner to everybody in your vicinity. However, in the internal realms, I feel there's a lot of constriction and restriction that you have been learning your whole life how to manage that by yourself. It's not very often that you will invite people in, and when you do, you are 100% devoted. I also just want to touch on the fact that I think this whole unique perspective thing is coming in because the oppositions, okay, to the stellium in Cancer and the Uranus-Neptune conjunction in Capricorn, and then the opposition from Chiron to Saturn retrograde, okay, that cross that is formed is forming 4 triangles, you know, diamonds, you know, between the trines and the oppositions, okay, and the sextiles, okay. So this is giving you I want to say you have a macro of macro perspectives on all situations. And I feel with Libra sharing your 11th house and 10th house there, I feel that you would have found a lot of people came to you for advice, especially because your MC is Virgo and your Chiron is Virgo. Okay, so yes, and it's in the 10th house. So the Chiron in the 10th, that pertains to an absent father figure or caregiver in your life. But Chiron in Virgo gives me the vibe that perhaps you had an operation go wrong, is what I'm getting right now, like around 22, 23 years old. It could have been even earlier than that. However, I am feeling that it was medically related, sorry, either in this life or in a past life. However, I feel it is this life that you know, an operation went wrong or wrong medication was distributed or something to that nature. And this is the learning to trust yourself again, I want to say, because Virgo does rule the solar plexus. And I feel that is what your gift to the world is as well. Like, it's part of that Cancerian mother nature, right? To want to heal, to want to help. And the MC being there in Virgo just tells me that, you know, it's herbalism as well, it's medications, it's also MC in Virgo, obviously light working, healing, Reiki healing, light language, things like that as well. However, considering that your Chiron is there, it's like your journey. And I know that this sounds very cliche because it's for everybody, that our journey serves our purpose, right? However, I feel that that is going to be your niche. So whatever wounding and traumas that you have overcome your whole life experience to this point, you know, because you are going to be shortly coming into a Saturn return. Yes, Saturn is retrograding at 24 degrees of Pisces, so you're not going to see that until next year, not next year, the year after. So 2025, I want to say, you know, toward the end of 2025 is what I'm feeling. I'm just like intuitively feeling into the Saturn. We're in the final retrograde, right, of Saturn in Aquarius right now. So I'm just intuitively feeling into the transit of when you will be receiving your exact Saturn return. But Saturn retrograding there in Pisces, in the 4th house as well, gives me the vibe that your father figure was either completely absent or he was present but not emotionally present, if that makes sense. That's the vibe I'm picking up with Saturn retrograding in the 4th there. Perhaps your father had a job where he was working away from home a lot, or perhaps he was in the military or something like this. But Saturn being in Pisces as well, it just gives me this conflicting vibe, okay? Like there's conflicting energies. So I feel that that's how your father would have presented growing up. Now, I'm just going to tune back into the chart and we'll see the next point here. Oh, that's right. So, thank you. They're just drawing me back to your moon in Gemini, on the descendant there as well, and in opposition to Jupiter. Okay, so perhaps you had your mother had an influence over, or attempted to have an influence over, where you would be going in life and where you were headed in life. However, a lot of that was her own projected fears, is what I'm being told. Sort of like almost like she tried to coddle you because of her own internal world going on. I'm getting that there was perhaps mental instability from your mother, and she would project her fears onto you, is what I'm feeling there. It is quite interesting seeing that your Jupiter is conjunct your ascendant, and it is there, and it's also your chart ruler. Anyway, so I feel that's a very beneficial placement, because even though it's retrograding, okay, and is only at a 5-degree mark of Sagittarius, I really do feel that you have this outlook on life of limitless possibility. Yeah. You've got the gift of vision. We know you're very intuitive. Neptune in Capricorn, it probably took you a while to actually start trusting it. Maybe you started noticing it when you were 13, 14 years old. They're telling me that age right now. And you've been teaching yourself and training yourself how to lean into that and trust that more since that age. But with Jupiter being on your ascendant, I feel it's a really beautiful aspect to have, because we know as well that, you know, Sagittarius to me is like the philosopher and the higher octave of spirituality, you know, and I really find that that is also amplifying your mystic rectangle that you've got going on. I know I keep going back to this, however, I'm still blown away, sweetheart. Like, this energy that I'm feeling off of this chart, it's like I'm channeling the exact energy of the chart. So I'm feeling and being really calm, but on the inside I'm feeling the tension, I'm feeling the energy of what these oppositions do to you on occasion, and what you've had to learn to traverse throughout your life, you know, especially because your North Node is in Scorpio. So yes, it is at 1 degree of Scorpio, so the South Node isn't going to be crossing and transiting that for some time just at the moment. So, you know, that's good and everything like that. However, considering the South Node is going to go over your North Node, I feel to be wary around that time and mention it to you, to expect you to feel a little bit awash of which direction you need to go in. And I also, there's something, my guides, thank you so much, they're bringing through to me right now as well, with it being in the 11th house. Something shady might go down with people that you are close to. People that I feel like there's going to be a massive truth revealed to you when the South Node transits your North Node in Scorpio. And it will be to do with somebody in your vicinity at the moment, whom somebody, I really don't like giving this news, but it feels like a massive betrayal of trust. I feel like somebody's mask is going to be completely removed. So just a heads up on that as well. So keep an eye on the North Node, South Node transit, so that you can see when it comes into conjunction and does transit it, that, you know, you can be aware enough so that you can be discerning with what's taking place, and therefore hopefully negate any tower moments, I want to say, and any upheavals and shocks to the system. Okay, so what else do we want to focus on right now, guys? They're drawing me back to Black Moon Lilith again, my love. Black Moon Lilith in Gemini. All right, let me just check. How long have we been going for? "25 minutes? Okay, beautiful. So, Black Moon Lilith in Gemini, something about your communication, I think, and what I'm feeling is that people tried to control the way you expressed yourself, is what I want to say, especially in relationship, okay, because it's in the 7th house. So if you've dated people who criticize the way that you speak, your accent, perhaps even a lisp or something like that, or perhaps you have a funny way of pronouncing certain words, but also it's got a lot to do with your, like I said, like this unique macro level perspective that all of that your chart has gifted you. Okay, not a lot of people would get it, not a lot of people would understand and be on your level. And when you were younger, it used to cause a lot of conflict because you didn't understand at such a young age as well how people weren't understanding you, because it just made perfect sense to you, but you were criticized or made to feel less than, and you were sort of, I feel like somebody tried to box you in, you know, of how you should be expressing yourself. Sun conjunct Mercury in Cancer, though, it's like very, very clear to me. Like, it's not just clear cognizance, okay, with the moon in Gemini to me. It's clear feeling as well as the clear cognizance that this Sun Mercury conjunction is gifting you. So you've got Mars. Let's move to Mars in Libra. It's at 0 degrees of Libra. So in the 10th house. So considering your MC is Virgo, but the house is shared with Libra, what I do feel, especially with this 8th house, 12th house trine going on, okay, it gives me the vibe that you are a justice warrior, you know, or a healer of those who have been in marital abuse, domestic abuse situations. And with Mars being there in the 10th, I feel that this is giving you that freedom fighter, that warrior, justice, a warrior for justice is what I want to say. And this is backing up your part fortune there, the circle with the square being at 14 degrees of Libra, exact at 14 degrees of Libra. So not a spiritual mastery of 20 plus degrees, however, still a powerful 14 there. As we know, the steps are just as important to get to the spiritual mastery. So the part fortune being there in Libra in your 10th house of status and career as well, I do feel that it's very much your success and your quote-unquote fortune, okay, will be found, as I said, with following that healer path, following that, getting justice for, even for, you know, sexual abuse victims and things like this is what I feel would be a niche area for you. And I want to say, with Pluto being in the 12th and Scorpio, again, this is just amplifying this clear, this, to me, it is amplifying the clear vision that you have. Like, if you're not already practicing your spiritual gifts and meditating and channeling, and if you're not a medium, I would be very, very surprised if you're not a medium and have actually seen spirit manifest, you know, with Pluto being there in the 12th. So let's just have a quick traverse over the chart again, because I haven't even brought up your dominants. So let's bring those up now. So the screen you're looking at now, this tells you how you're balanced, okay? So between the fire, earth, air, and water, and as you can see, you are all water there with the beautiful 13, the goddess number. So again, just really, this is just very much confirming and supporting what I've just said about how you just have clear feeling, clairsentience, okay? Clair empathy, clairvoyance, claircognizance, mediumship. You have the ability to have it all. And your signature sign, of course, is Cancer, your cardinal energy there, okay? Now, going back to the charts, I just want to have a look at, to see if I've missed any aspects, because I have been completely focused on this mystic rectangle, of yours. So the trine, I've discussed the trine between the 8th and the 12th. You also have a sextile between Pluto, Neptune, and Uranus. So again, just to me, it's expanding that vision, you know, and being able to hold that vision, being able to create that vision, you know, being Taurus house of I have. With Venus, let's go back to the Venus, because Venus, of course, rules the second house. However, I was just drawn to this other aspect here of between Venus and Jupiter, which is a trioctile, okay? And it's 135 degrees, if you didn't already know. And that gives me the energy of you perhaps having wanted to travel or wanted to move. However, maybe finances held you back, or relationships, somebody in relationship held you back from going, is what I want to say here. And again, you didn't let everybody know. It was sort of like a private conversation that was had, and your plans to move or to travel were changed. You have the moon in trioctile as well to Neptune, okay? So this can be exacerbating, and I think this actually, the trioctile is kind of supporting what I said earlier with regards to you taking some time to learn how to trust your intuition more fully. Your moon is also in semi-square to Mercury and Venus, okay? The semi-square energy gives me challenging vibes, to be honest with you, because there's like this clear knowing, but then your emotional body is trying to align to it, you know. So similarly to the rectangle, okay, the outer world wants one thing and is one thing and is presenting as one thing, yet the internal world is where the pain points are, you know, where the conflict is, that you so beautifully and gracefully just seem to hold. What's that phrase? Can you please give that phrase to me, guides? it's not keeping up appearances. However, it's something similar to keeping up appearances. So you just seem to have this air of grace about you, and it's very calming to those in your external reality. Okay, so what else do we have here? Oh yes, that's what I wanted to touch on, was the square between, thank you so much guides, the square between your North Node in Taurus and Uranus. Now, or your South Node, sorry. It's North Node in Scorpio, sorry. I'm getting confused because of we're in North Node Taurus right now. I'm so sorry. So the square between your North Node in Scorpio and Uranus. Okay, so this can also exacerbate that wanting to trust your intuition and your path of where you're headed, because at times it can feel sketchy, I want to say. You get very, very laser focused and very, very sure of yourself, and then something comes in and I guess ruffles your feathers, I guess is the best way of putting it. And then that square kicks in and you're like, was what I was thinking earlier correct, or did I just make that up? And then you have to kind of start again. There seems to be a lot of having to relearn lessons over and over again, and you feel like you're looping a lot of the time. And if it's not a lot of the time, you go through phases of it. So you might be good for, you know, anywhere between 2 to 6 weeks or 2 to 8 weeks. You'd be good and solid, and then it all comes crumbling down again, and you're like, holy shit, like I thought I was clear, and now I'm having to pick up all the pieces again, so to speak, and put the jigsaw puzzle back together, you know. So that's completely understandable, especially with the Mars in semi-sextile to the North Node as well. Okay, so the semi-sextile, yes, it's a supportive energy. However, it gives me the vibe that the motivation isn't always there. It ebbs and flows, yeah, especially with Mars being in Libra at that 0 degree mark, like the Libra scales. Yeah, it seems that the Mars being at that placement, it gives you like it's like you get an oomph every now and then it's like, yep, okay, cool, now I'm in a lull, and I'm just gonna go with the flow, focus on my internal world, worry about what's going on internally for me so that I can make myself right, and then I can feel more confident in exploring the external again. So is there anything else that we need to touch on? Just having a look here. How long have we been going? Oh, beautiful. So, thank you so much. Yes, all right. They've just drawn me to Chiron square Black Moon Lilith as well. All right, so I feel perhaps that's what I was picking up on earlier as well, with regard to the wounding being that relating to either an operation or relating to someone restricting you, binding you. They're telling me binding you. Yeah. This is very random, but what's just come through is if you had something like scoliosis of the spine and you had to wear a brace or something like that, or maybe you had to wear a cast, you know, there's something, an internal structure, okay, had to be reset is what it feels like. So I would really love to know what I'm picking up on there and how that resonates, because yes, that's very interesting to receive that message from that square there. Yes, okay. It could, with Saturn being in retrograde in Pisces, okay, because Saturn does rule the bones, the teeth, the hair, and things like that, okay. I feel it could even be related to mental health that you needed recalibration on, okay. So perhaps, you know, with having to navigate this mystic square as a child or as a teenager, maybe you questioned your sanity quite a lot, and perhaps you needed to go on medications for a while to help balance you out. That's also something else that's coming through, whether it be Western medication, naturopathy, herbalism, things like that, okay? So, is that all that we needed to touch on? Oh, okay, thank you. They're just bringing North and South Node back to focus, because as you know, the North Node is your Dharma, the South Node is your Karma, and all the gifts, wisdom, wounds, medicine, your past life wisdom, as well as wounding that you bring into this life. If with your South Node being in the 5th house in Taurus, this makes me feel that it's hard for you to break routine, is what I want to say, and that routine has been comfortable for you. But also being in the 5th house as well, I feel there's a habit of bypassing is such a harsh word. However, I feel there's this habit of you focusing on everybody else and not yourself, to ignore everything that's going on in you, which, you know, we all do to varying degrees. So there's no shade whatsoever. A North Node in Scorpio, again, you know, you've got the mystic triangle. Scorpio is the mystic, the shaman of the shaman, according, in my personal opinion, of the zodiac. And your North Node is there, and your MC is in Virgo. So if you are not already on a healer's path and not already working as a healer or a counselor or a guide, this is where you're heading. Like, this is what I feel in my bones right now, my love. So I want to say thank you for this opportunity, because, as I said, I've only ever read about this astrological aspect of the mystic rectangle, and it's been very, very interesting energies to tune into. So I can honestly tell you, I know how you feel. Yeah. So, my love, I'm gonna wrap it up there. Please know you have 3 days to DM me, or what I would prefer is drop the questions that you have for clarification, as well as the confirmations. Like, if you could drop in some confirmation for me, my love, because this chart was amazing to read, and I would just love to know if and how on point I was. And please drop in the comments below, because this is a private video. I've also arranged a coupon for everybody who has purchased the natal chart that's been on sale. So I've dropped that link, the coupon code and the link to purchase your progressed natal chart. So that's the chart that you are living through in this year of your life. It's for $44 off. So you can pick that up for $100 up until the 1st of September. or you can purchase up until the 1st of November using the progress code on that progress natal chart. However, I'd like to take this moment to remind you that as of the 1st of September, all of my prices are being restructured. So I highly encourage you, if you are interested in having your progress natal chart done, definitely purchase before the 1st of September, okay, my love? I've dropped a link down below to the natal chart so that you can have a dive through. This is on horoscopes.astroseek.com. This is a website that I found very useful when I was learning astrology, because even though I only use it now for the screens that you've been seeing today, it does have very detailed explanation into the patterns, into the placements as well. So I highly encourage you to have a look to see what the website says as well, because I do not read it. This is purely intuitively channeled analysis for you, okay, my love? I just want to make sure I'm not missing any other retrogrades. No, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto are all retrograde. And because your birthday is in July, you won't be experiencing any of those go direct for a very long time, if at all, in your life. Yeah, perhaps Saturn, but not until much, much later in life. So I'm going to wrap it up there. Thank you so much again for the opportunity, Kimberly. It's been an absolute honor. And yes, I look forward to connecting with you in the comments, my love. All right, have a beautiful day or evening, wherever this finds you. And yes, I will connect with you again soon. Blessings.